All right. So welcome everybody. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight because I can imagine what it would be like, preparing, to impact knowledge and then you guys don't show up. So thank you for showing up. We're doing this for the um, love for community and what we do. Okay. So thank you. And thank you for those that will be watching this video. Um, thank you. All right, a quick one. So my name is Moses, and I'm doing the introduction, not for you guys online, it's for anybody watching this video. Okay, my name is Moses, and then today we're going to be talking about Power BI. I personally have been using Power BI for not so long, to be honest with you, but long enough to understand a few things, enough to build some report. I've used it, in for different customers, different clients of ours, to pull report from different sources and being able to design, average or nicely beautiful, name it whatever, dashboard. So today we're going to be talking about overview of Power BI. It's a beginning of a series. I believe we should be doing this for the next couple of weeks. So this week, maybe next week as well, an upper week, depending on what we're able to achieve. So this may be a series. Not sure if it's going to be up to 3-part series, but definitely we'll continue next week because there's no way in the world we can finish everything about Power BI within 1 hour, so we'll not be able to do that. But today we're going to be able to have overview knowledge of it and a little bit more than overview, and then we'll do some demos. Just be familiar a little bit with it. All right, so let's get started. And then as we're making progress, feel free to ask me questions and I'll be able to answer you. So the agenda for this is, so we're going to talk about what Power BI is. We'll talk about flavors of Power BI, what you can do with Power BI, types of Power BI users, meaning what kind of people, can use Power BI, how Power BI is different from Excel, Power BI gateway, features of Power BI, components of Power BI, and of course, we're going to talk about the pricing, and we'll do a quick demo, and then next week is going to be more of a demo. We'll try different things out. We'll be able to, if we're not able to finish the next class, we'll move it to another the following week. But I'm hoping that we should be able to wrap it up next week. So today is an introduction, and we'll get to whenever our time is up, we'll continue another time. So this is the agenda for tonight. So let's start with Power BI, what it is. What is Power BI? We may already know or may not know that Power BI is a data visualization and business intelligence tool that convert data from different data sources to interactive dashboard and BI report. So Power BI is actually, very user friendly. The purpose of it is just, if you were used to traditional SSRS, where you basically connect to any source and you're able to design your report, publish the report. Power BI is, in my opinion, I would say it's a modified version of that. Okay. I like the fact that you can play around with your data, with your visual, and make it easy for people to read and understand their data just by looking at the graphs, because you are able to see graphs and using different graphs to define your data. So it's important we also understand the history of Power BI. So Power BI, it's like we already know, it's a Microsoft product, initially released sometime in July 2011, I believe July 11, 2011, 11. Oh, it's nice. So July 11, 2011, it was originally designed and created by a gentleman called Ron George in 2010, who basically released it with a different name. Then it was called Project Crescent. So later in September of 2013, Microsoft kind of like changed the name to Power BI and launched it to the public. And then and this kind of like this release was more like for Power BI Office 365 and had Microsoft Excel add in. And then Power Pivot, Power View. If you're used to Excel, you will be familiar with some of these names that I'm calling: Power Pivot, Power View, Power Query in it. Now, in a later version of it, Microsoft added advanced features like natural language, Q&A, enterprise level data security, and connectivity, Power Data Gateway, which allows you to be able to refresh data. We're going to talk about that. So really, at the enterprise level, Power BI was first was generally released on sometime in July of 2015, I believe. Then as of 2019, Power BI has been officially declared one of the leading BI tools in the industry. So why am I giving us this background? It's always important to understand, the history. Just like we all understand history of SQL Server, we understand different versions of SQL Server. I believe it's important for us to also have a little background and understand, the history of Power BI. So it is basically used to, give you that beautiful visualization. Now, Power BI has three flavors we're going to be talking about tonight. It has the Power BI desktop app, which is used to create reports. We're going to talk about that extensively in a minute. Power BI services, which is a software as a service cloud platform. We also have Power BI mobile app, which is used to view the report and dashboard. Just like you will have the desktop version of the report, you can also view your report, as you go along on your mobile phone. And we have Power BI report server, which is more like the on-premises report for companies who are really keen and big on security. And we're going to talk more about that in what situation, what scenario, you want to use that. So let's start with Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop is a client-side tool known as companion development and authoring tool. It is loaded with tools and functionalities to connect to data sources, transform data, data modeling, and creating reports. You can download and install Power BI desktop in your system for free. That's a good thing about it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't need license for it. It's free. Remember, not Power BI generally. We're talking about the desktop. It's just a tool that you use in designing your report. You can do data cleansing, create business metrics and data models, define the relationship between data, define hierarchies, create visuals, and publish reports. Okay. By the time we start to do our demo, you understand how to use Power BI desktop and how to use it to connect to your data source. We'll cover all of that tonight, hopefully, if time permits us. Okay. Power BI services is another one. So if you already know about software as a service, Power BI service is one of those SaaS. Power BI service is a web-based platform from where you can share report that you made from your Power BI desktop. So meaning that you design the report from your Power BI desktop and then you publish it to your Power BI service, right? Of course, you can also report, on your Power BI service as well. You can collaborate with other users and create dashboard. What does that mean? You have the ability to share your report with your team members, to your co-workers. If you are designing a report and before you publish the report, you can actually, share with with team members before you share with everybody or make it public. All right, so you have the ability to share and team members can make comment. You can view it on Teams. All right, you can view it on Teams and you can have multiple team members really contribute. Power BI service is also known as powerbi.com, Power BI Workspace, Power BI Site, and Power BI Web Portal. It offers 3 versions. So we have free version, we have the pro version, and we have the premium version. Also, we have Power BI Mobile. Like I explained before, just like we had when you were designing any application, any report, there is something about you being able to open that report in your mobile. You can be driving on your way to the airport and you need to quickly review a particular report. Power BI makes it easy for you to, while you in a taxi, not while driving, but while you're in a taxi or Uber or someone driving you to the airport, you can quickly check, or while you're waiting for your flight or waiting for another meeting, on the flight, you can just review your Power BI. So it makes it really portable. So Power BI Mobile is a native Power BI application that runs on iOS, Android, and Windows mobile devices. You can use it to view reports and dashboards. And then Power BI Report Server. The Power BI Report Server is like the Power BI service. The Power BI Report Server is an on-premises platform. It is used by organizations who do not want to publish their reports on the cloud and are concerned about security of their data. So there are some companies like that, who don't even want to go to the cloud. So people like that, if your company is one of those, definitely they want to use Power BI Report Server. Of course, it comes with a cost, with a price. Power BI Report Server enables you to create dashboards and share your report with other users for security protocols. To use this service, you need to have a Power BI Premium license. So it's not cheap. You to have Power BI Premium license. Any questions so far? If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to stop. We can make it interactive, or we can wait till the end of it. I'll give you time to ask questions. But if for any reason you feel like you have a question to ask, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay.
Okay, please, quick question.
Yeah.
All right, so to use this service, you need to have a Power BI Premium license. So for example, just like the way we have developer editions and evaluation editions for SQL, right? If I want to use a Power BI, right, for just testing, not for a live environment, can I have this? Can it be
Absolutely.
downloaded and used?
Are you talking about Power BI Report Server or Power BI generally?
Power BI Report Server.
Power BI Report Server, that's a good question. I'm not sure if you can use it if you have the free version for it, because for you to use what they consider the free version, you have to use the dashboard. I mean, it's free. I'm sorry. Power BI Desktop is free, right? And then you can push your report to your cloud. So if you are looking for, if you don't want to go to the cloud, you don't want to use Power BI service, and you are not an enterprise, it doesn't make sense. It's free, all right? So if you're getting a free stuff, you have to just take it like that. I mean, I actually like Power BI, as far as providing free services, because providing the desktop for free is amazing. You don't need to buy a license to be able to use the free edition of the Power BI. But for the Power BI report server, it's really for those people who are a little bit rigid and they don't want to go to the cloud because of sensitivity of their data, or they don't have trust, or they're yet to believe that the cloud has the ability to be able to protect their data. So I'm not 100% sure if there is a free version. I'm not aware of any. For you to use it, you must have the premium license. I hope that helps.
I have a question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted one quick question about. So what's I know that we have a Tableau, which also may be used also in building reports. So, what would you say would be the most preferred dashboard building platform? Would you prefer to go with Power BI or with Tableau? I really don't know what more about Tableau, but I know that it's used for building similar reports like this.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like you on that. I don't know much about Tableau. Um, I will believe that it should be a matter of preference. I have not worked with Tableau extensively to understand the way I understand Power BI. Uh,
Mhm.
if we were
Yeah,
talking,
it is preference, Moses.
yeah,
It's a
I
matter
just
of
want to believe
preference.
it's preference. I
Yeah.
have
Okay,
not used it. I've used Power BI and I've used SSRS. Then I can
okay,
really tell you, the difference. But with Tableau, I'm not 100% sure, but I want to believe that it is preference.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Hold on quick. I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you familiar with Brent Ozark, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, one of our DBAs, he decided to put like their first responder kit on Power BI. You think that it generates a report? You think that's one of the free trials or that a subscription?
I don't think that has anything to do with so you're saying that the Brent Ozer script, Brent Ozer has different script for different purposes, the diagnose, the health check script. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, like the help of your instance, all the basic CPUs, IOs and things like that, memory
No,
buffers.
no, it is not. It's not Power BI. It's just he understands SQL Server enough to query different system catalog that that is able to provide the information that we use, as health check, so it has nothing to do with Power BI.
Okay, well, I have Power BI at my job, and I'm kind of logged in right now. But I see this, like, you know what? Let's get into the depot. I think that'd be more into the demo. I'll figure it out. Let's go ahead.
Okay, all right, that's fine. We're gonna get to the demo. I think that was a big lesson. So hopefully I want to drive to the end so that we can actually at least make some good progress, and I will give you time to ask questions. So please write down your questions so we'll be able to make good progress.
Okay.
All right, sorry guys. Okay, let's move on. So what you can do with Power BI, you can create and publish report like you already know and data stories from your data set. You can connect to any data source, be it Excel file, SQL database, BI, warehouse, cloud data, API, web naming. So there are a lot of, when we're doing our demo, you'll see different data sources that we can pull data from when we are designing report using Power BI. You can make highly interactive, engaging, and powerful report, dashboard, or visuals. You can share report with audience securely. That's a good thing about it. Types of Power BI users. So who are the people that can use Power BI? If you are a Power BI creator, they are basically people who design the Power BI, and they could be developers, DBAs, business analysts, whatever role that you play as a back-end person, you can design it. And of course, Power BI consumers are people who read or view the things built in Power BI. So anybody can use Power BI. You can generate the report and just send a link and give that person access, to the report, and they'll be able to view it, just by having access to the URL. And if time permits, I was going to go through all of that. If not, wherever we get to, we'll end it. But next week, we're definitely going to continue with this same topic. How is Power BI different from Excel? One, Power BI allows rich, immersive, and interactive experiences out of the box. Power BI works with large data set. There's no artificial limit of 1 million row in Power BI. You share and read report easily. You You can create report in Power BI and share them in format that are universal. For Power BI is for storytelling, while Excel is for almost anything. All right, it doesn't have the kind of flexibility, that you can basically do with your Power BI. With Power BI, you can actually, configure using what we call a data gateway to refresh your data. And we're going to talk about all of that in a minute. So it has a lot more flexibility compared to Excel. So this is a quick architecture or process flow of Power BI. So this is your Power BI desktop, where you're doing all your design. And of course, before you do the design, you need data from different data source. So it could be from SQL, it could be from any service or website or any platform at all. You can pull the data, and then you can also print the data from Power BI desktop. Okay, and then you can link the data to the Power BI service after designing it using your Power BI desktop. And then we have another component here known as Power BI Gateway. What it basically does, it allows you to be able to refresh data, in and out the secure data that is within your on-premises environment. So you are able to refresh data when Power BI here pulls data from SQL, all right? And then you have access to a particular table, a particular database. By the time you publish the report and it shows up here on your Power BI service, what happens if something new, if the data is refreshed? The data is refreshed. There's no way Power BI service will be able to capture it without you setting up Power BI Gateway. All right. And of course, from here, you can, send the data to people to view using their desktop or using their mobile devices. So that's a quick architecture of Power BI. Now, let's talk about Power BI Gateway. I mentioned it a minute ago. So this component is used to connect and access on-premises data in secure networks. Power BI Gateway are generally used in organizations where data is kept in security and watch. So Power BI also, Power BI Gateway helps to extract out such data through secure channels to Power BI platforms for analysis and reporting. So practically, it is a very good component, very important component of Power BI. Like I explained before, if you don't have your data gateway configured, you probably will not be able to have fresh data. Well, there is a manual way to do it. If you need to automate your data, if you need to automate your data to be refreshed, then you need the gateway, all right? But if you're not able to do that, which doesn't make sense if you don't, the only way you will have fresh data is for you to manually go to your Power BI desktop and refresh it and then republish it. You don't want to do that. Think about it. If you have a large amount of report, large amount of data to process, doing that manually, it just doesn't make any sense. So with Power BI Gateway, you are able to, to refresh your data. Important features of Power BI desktop. We're going to talk about this in practically once we're doing our demo. So we have the ribbon, which find most important and regular stuff in your home ribbon. Then the get data button, it's basically the button that allows you, once you click on get data, you are able to connect to any data source. And the data source can be anything. Trust me, there's a lot of data sources out there that that you can connect to. So it's not just connecting to SQL Server or connecting to Excel spreadsheet. There are a lot of sources that you can connect to: CSV, XML, JSON, Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, name it, SAP HANA database, SAP Business Warehouse Server, whatever you can think of that has data, including Facebook, including Google Analytics, Salesforce report. Think about it. You can make connection. If you can make connection to the data source, and you can authenticate yourself through it, then you can build report out of the data. Okay, so from the get data, you are able to do that. View selection, by default, you will be on report view. So if you change to data or model view to see behind the scenes, you'll be able to have other views. And by the time we're doing our demos, you'll be able to see all those things I'm talking about. These are just features that are on your Power BI desktop. Visualization area, visualization, add chart, tables, map, filters, etc. to the report. We also have the visual field, the format, and analytics. Use this area to set up and customize your visualization chart. Then we also have filters that allows you to set up chart, page, report, level filters, and then you are able to do what a word class would do in a SQL. You use the filter to do that. Okay. Still on Power BI desktop, we have the Canvas. Canvas, this is where you construct your report. You can also save your report as you're working. Control S also work on your Power BI desktop. You have the ability to publish the report. So publish the report, you can, it's really obvious. And by the time we do our demo, you see the button just to push once you design your report. Just make sure you don't push that button if you are not ready for the report to be accessible by other people who already have access to that report. Then the add button, add more pages to your report. So you can have a single report that has a single page. All right. You can also decide to have multiple pages on your report. So you use the add button to be able to do that. Let's talk a little bit about the components of Power BI. So we have a Power Query, which is used to access, search, and transform data from public or local internal data sources. You also have Power Pivot, just like you have in Excel. But here you provide this, the tool provides you the model data taken from the in-memory data source to use it for analytics. We have Power View, we have Power Map, Power BI Desktop itself. We have Power BI Website, which is AKA for Power BI Services. We have Power BI Service, on its own. We also have Power Q&A. Using the Power Q&A option, you can search for your data and discover insight just by entering queries in natural language. It instantly understands your query and returns relevant results. It's actually a very good, cool component or feature there. Power BI mobile apps, I already talked about that. I'm not going to spend more time on that. Data catalog and data management gateway. This component manages the periodic data refreshes, data feed, viewing, and table exposing. So I mentioned this earlier on. So they all make up the component of Power BI. Now, Power BI is not 100% free. Let's take a look at the pricing model. So there are 3 pricing plans for Power BI. We have the basic version, Power BI Desktop, which is free. We already know that. You don't need to buy, you don't need to have license for it. So if you want to practice along, you can actually download the Power BI Desktop and be able to do demo with us. Okay. Then Power BI Pro is also available at a subscription price of $9.99 per user per month. Remember, per user. So you cannot use multiple users, have multiple users make use of the same license. So you can try a 60 days free trial before purchasing the subscription if you're not sure what you want. And ultimately, we have the Power BI Premium, which is available at the price of $4,995 per month for one dedicated storage resource and cloud computing facility. So this is not for one user, so multiple users can take advantage of this. Any questions? Okay, let's move on. So getting started with Power BI, you need to just download the Power BI desktop. And to do that, you go to this link, powerbi.com. So if you're working along with us, you can go ahead and just type on your browser, powerbi.com. Then Power BI is always changing monthly. You do not need PowerBI.com account to use Power BI. It's important to log in to publish and share your work, because if you don't log in, you will not be able to have access to your team members. So it's important to have that. So let me do this. Okay. All right. So let's quickly do any question before we jump into doing our demo.
Yeah, I do, sir. I want to know if SQL Server has a parallel reporting system. And I know for any technology that springs up, there's always a justification for it. So like comparing what SQL Server has to offer for reporting and how Power BI surpasses it or complements it.
I'm not sure I understood that question, but if I understand you very well, traditionally we have.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay, thank you.
Does SQL Server have reporting services just like Power BI does?
Yes, there is reporting services, SQL Server reporting services.
So thank you for that. So could we just do one or two comparison between both? What makes Power BI more user-friendly or more popular over SQL Server?
Well, good question. Power BI is definitely more flexible, and it gives you ability to do some things that you cannot do using your SSRS. That is just it. I know you can also view report. You can use chart. You can do visual, but it doesn't give you the kind of flexibility that you have using Power BI. And using SSRS. So it's just the flexibility that it gives. It's a good. Unlike SSRS, Power BI is free to start with. In SSRS, we need to purchase the SQL Server license. However, to use the PBIRS with Power BI, it's free. Also, Power BI is it's comparatively more graphical and modern, whereas SSRS requires more time and manual effort to analyze data, and also you have to configure your SSRS server, and the configuration involved in SSRS is a little bit complicated compared to Power BI. Power BI is pretty straightforward. If you have a little bit of creativity, you'll be able to design your data in the way that you love. But for you to achieve the same thing that you would achieve using Power BI, you would have to put in a lot of work to achieve that. So Power BI can be referred to as the successor, of SSRS.
Mm.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other
So you
questions?
said, sorry, you said, what was the link for the Power BI?
Just type powerbi.com.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Just type www.powerbi. Just type powerbi.com. You know what? Let's do that together. Can show you guys. Any other questions or concern?
Yeah, I picked up something during the presentation that some companies would rather have their reporting in Power BI than on the cloud. So please.
Report server, not just Power BI. So you need to get that right. Power BI report server.
Yeah, Power BI report server on away from the cloud. So my question is, are there security issues? I don't know much about cloud computing, so this is an opportunity to enlighten me. Are there security issues with cloud computing that will make companies rather want to have the option of using Power BI?
Well, the answer is no. Um, no matter how you, no matter how many times you fly, there are people who just don't like to fly. They would rather drive. They will make that drive if they are traveling from Texas to Oklahoma or to Georgia. They would rather just drive. So there are people who just don't believe in the cloud. They believe that their data is not going to be safe. It's I've not seen any known issues. I read a lot of articles, just any issue where there are major security threats just by moving to the cloud. If there was any issue like that, I believe it would have been made public. So there are no threat. At the same time, there are companies who just don't feel comfortable, moving to the cloud because of the sensitivity of their data or just mindset thing. Just like people who don't like to upgrade from older versions of SQL Server, they would rather keep patching their grandfather
I was about saying it.
SQL Server just to make themselves feel happy,
Avoid it.
because they are I believe it's fear of the unknown. They are not sure. They don't trust you, like, oh yeah, if we upgrade it's gonna break. Well, that's not true. Do your
If
homework.
you upgrade, they will fire you.
Yeah. So anyways, so to answer your question, ma'am, it's just a preference.
Okay, thank you.
Security threat in migrating to the cloud. Okay, guys, we don't have a lot of time. Let's see what we can achieve in less than 30 minutes. So if you go on this website, you should be able to go to where it says product. So this is your Power BI desktop. This is Power BI Pro, Power BI Premium, mobile. So you can download them. But what we need for this demo, you need Power BI desktop. Once you click on it, it's going to download. It's going to open this. Then you click on download free. All right, I already have mine downloaded for the purpose of this demo. And of course, I already have Power BI, but no big deal. You know what, let's do it again.
Please, can you help send the link to the chat?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So once you click on it, it's gonna bring you to a window such as this. You know what, let me share it in the chat real quick. Yep, done. I've sent it. All right, so you can launch it from here. You can also download it from your Windows, okay, Microsoft Store. You'll be able to download it from there. Because I already have it, I don't want to waste time doing this, but I'm just showing you guys. So once you click on launch, it's going to pull it up, and then it will prompt you to install. The installation is pretty straightforward. Once you click on it, it downloads, it opens. So in my own case, it actually just opened up. Okay, so I have it open on my other monitor, so I will close it. Yep. This is Power BI Desktop's what it looks like. So once you open it, you will have something else on the screen where you are able to you're able to just a welcome screen, and then option for data source or data connection. Okay, I'm going to close this for now. Okay, so this is how you download it. So if you're following along, so please, you want to do that. Okay, now once you're done downloading, let's get this out here. Once you're done downloading, I want to give us access to, I'm going to post another link. I'm going to post it below this video. If we post this video on YouTube, most likely we may post it on YouTube as well. So I'm gonna post the link below the video. Just for you guys to follow along, I think it's always good to have like it's good to have like a link, copy link. It's good to have like data that we can play with. So, all right, I just posted it in the live chat so you guys can grab it. So what I sent to you is sample data that we can use. I downloaded mine already. All right, so I'm gonna make a connection to that sample data. I'm trying to identify the data. I know I downloaded it recently.
I already have that downloaded previously on my system, but
Yeah.
it's asking for a sign in. Do I have to create? I can't remember if I kind of created. Maybe I registered previously or something, but I knew I had downloaded that previously.
Maybe you will have to sign in. I'm not sure why it's asking you to sign in.
Moses, I have a question. So there's a point where it gives an option to choose either Power BI or PEP Cloud. Which one do you take? Power BI.
Power BI. All right, guys. So now we have a Power BI desktop open. So there are a few things that I want to show you guys here, and we cannot learn everything about Power BI desktop within the short time that we have. But at least for tonight, let's be able to load a report, make connection and design simple, straightforward report. Then next week we'll go further and do something more complex, and we'll design our report. Okay. All right, so on this menu bar here is really no stranger to most of us probably know, but a few things there that may be different and unique to Power BI. Get data is, if you click on that, it would give you, it would open the data source connection for you to point to your data source, the Excel, the Power BI data set, SQL Server. So these are different sources that you can connect. They already have it here for you, and you have option to transform your data. You can refresh it. I talked about this earlier on. Text box. We're going to use all of this. That's why I said this is going to be a series. There's no way we can finish this in a day. All right. So for now, let's make a connection to our data source. So you click on that. All right. So I don't want to jump and just select the one that is okay for me. Let's review some of the data sources that we can connect to. You can connect to text, CSV, XML, JSON, folder. I mentioned all of this, PDF. Look at all this. SQL Server database, Access database, SQL Server analysis services, Oracle database, IBM Informix, IBM Nestle, MySQL, Postgres, a lot, trust me, including services, Azure. So once you're able to successfully make connection to any of this data source, you can actually build report off of it. Okay. Now for today, we're going to do a demo where we are basically using Excel, because I sent you guys a link for sample data. Maybe next week, we're going to see how we can load data from SQL Server, and we'll play around with it, and we'll learn how to automate data, how to automate refresh. And I have a lot of examples that we can play around and we'll learn in the process, okay? So for today, for now, let's go with Excel. You click on Excel, click on Connect. Now, it identifies where I have my data, my sample data, all right? In your case, it may not identify it. You have to manually navigate to the location where you have your sample data, all right? So that is mine. So I'll go ahead and hit that. Okay, so now it is seeing the data. So that is a table. So we want this, and that is our data. So I selected the table that I want. Um, you have the ability to actually stay here and do your data transformation and then before loading it. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to do data transformation differently. So for now, we're just only going to load the data. And I mean, we can do a few things when we start to transform the data. All right, so I selected the table, and for any reason, if I need to rename it, I'm going to show you how to do all of that. All right. So for now, let's hit load. Just wait for it. It's going to load. Okay. So my data is loaded. How did I know? Showing up here. This is my data. So this is an employee data. It has age, dates joined, department, gender, manager, name, picture, rating, salary. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so let's look at a few things. How do we build a simple grid report? A lot of times you're gonna have to play around with chart, pie chart, different visualizations. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. So let's say, you just wanna build simple report that is in a grid, okay? So you have to click on it. So say, for example, I want to see the name of the employees and drag it and put it under values. Remember, see where it is, values, okay? Now I want to also add departments, employees. If you notice here, everything I'm dropping under value is creating the report there for me. Okay, let's pick something else, maybe gender. Now, another trick that you guys need to know, you guys can mess you up. If you click on, let's say I want to add manager. If you just bring this here, nothing is going to happen. Oh, what happened? I saw Moses doing that. It's not dropping. I want to drop it here. So pay attention to details. If you click on it, make sure you bring it here until you see a yellow line. Once you see the yellow line, release your mouse. All right. And then you can actually change the order. So as you notice, I just moved the manager, just move it around. You can do that as well. Okay. Now take a look at this. If I expand this, we have a simple, straightforward table. If I want to include all the tables, of course, I can do that. We don't have a lot of time, so I want to achieve as much as possible within a short time for this first demo. That next week we will go in details and learn more stuff. Okay. Now, that is just having a straightforward grid, straightforward report. Okay. Now, if I want to design this report, change a few things about it, I can actually design it and make it look, beautiful instead of looking the way it is. There's no formatting here. Everything just looks, same. Okay. So if you come here, you see this format, or you recognize those icons, painting icon, right? So you click on it, to give you a different views that you can play around with. So here you can play around with your style, can play around with the values. So say, for example, I want to change my font color. I can actually change my font color to blue, all right? Even though it doesn't look too good, but you're saying that. And background to, I'm not a very good graphic artist, but it gives you an idea of what you can do, okay? All right, so just to play around, the thing I can tell you guys about Power BI is that you need to spend time in Power BI. You need to play around with different features, different functions. As you're clicking, you are observing changes made, you're observing what is going on, all right? So let's try something different. Okay, still on that. Let's see if we can bold our, let's do something else. Column header. Column header. Let's do, can increase the size if I want. Okay, so my column header is increased. What else can I do? I can change the background if I want. I don't think I want to change the background. Again, there is a level of creativity that comes in when you are dealing with Power BI. You need to be creative. You need to understand what you want. You need to understand visual. You need to know how to play around with colors. Okay. All right. Let's try something else. So you can also, let's see, that's background. I don't want to do that. Oh, style, general. You can change your position, the width, the height. Some of those details, I would do them in another class. So today I just want to do something really basic that we can play around with. Okay, all right. So this gives us, I mean, of course, you can also expand it. It doesn't make sense for me to expand it more than my actual report. If I scroll up and down, I can see my report and what it looks like. Okay. Now, if you also notice, you will see that by default, we talked about this. This is the actual report view. Okay. And this one is the data set view. If you click on that, it will show you the actual data. Okay. Now let's flip back to report view. Now, if for any reason I want to do some kind of transformation on this data, I can click on transform data. Actually, it opened up on my secondary monitor. Let me drag it over. Okay. Because I say I want to transform my data, I can change a few things. I can change the format of my data. That's why I say you need to constantly play around with Power BI, some of those features, then take advantage of it. All right. What else can we change here? This is already string. So take note of this. So anytime you see ABC on top of the header, that is an indication that that column has string values. Okay. That is string, number, age, data join. So you can change anything you want. I'm looking for a good example to really play around for you guys to see. Okay, let's take for example date join. All right, I can, which doesn't make sense really. Doesn't make sense to give a different data type. But if I want to change it for any reason, you see where it says data type. If you click on here, you can actually change it to a different kind of data type that you want. Now it's date, so I can make it date time if I want. It will ask me, do I want to really change this? I said yes, so it gives me date and time. All right. Now, oh man, we have 7 minutes. So in the interest of time, now we're going to spend more time next week doing just demo, playing around with different use case scenarios and see how we can really work with Power BI. So once you're done with transforming, you can actually come here and say close and apply. All right. It is applying. Good. So that is done. Let's quickly do another quick other demo just to see. Let's play around with the visualization. So let's say I want to see all the employees by department. Okay, so I can pick something like stack column chart. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I just did something now. I clicked on, I selected a visualization and then it came on top of what I already have here. And that wasn't my intention. I did Control Z, right, to undo that action. And the reason why it came on top of this design is because I selected this design. So you need to click outside of the box if you want to bring to the board another visualization, okay? So now it came up here, right here. All right, so now let's play around with, say, departments. Because I'm using chart visualization, you would notice that we have different fields that are displayed down here, right? So let's say we want to identify employees by department, what department they belong. So I can move the department and put it on the axis, all right? And then, of course, department on its own doesn't make a lot of sense. I need the name of the employee so I can click and drag it. Remember, pay attention to where I'm putting it on the values. So with this, I can tell different employees. So this is count of names of employees by departments. Okay. I can also do something different if I'm trying to see, the big boys making all the money in the departments. I can use this. I don't know if it's a very good, if the best use case for this demo. I can say, I want to see top salary, whoever is making whatever, and I need the names. Okay, so I'm just playing around with this. With this, I'm able to see count of names by salary. Maybe that was not a very good use case scenario because of the chart that I picked. I can try something different. And then another good thing is that you see this filter icon here. You can actually filter your data, all right, using the slicer. You can use a slicer and filter your data. This is slicer right here. So with slicer, I can actually, filter data however I want. So there is also another section here called filters. The filter section allows you to be able to filter data just like you would use a where clause in a query. Okay, so the filter will allow you to be able to do that. But just what we have here will give you a little bit idea of what it takes to design a simple Power BI dashboard. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this guy. Now, after this, what next? It's important to understand your data. Now, you would not be a very good Power BI designer or developer if you don't know your data. You need to have a good understanding of your data to be able to play around with it, to understand the mind of your chief financial officer or the mind of your CEO or whoever needs this report, all right? So you need to spend time, study the data, understand the data, understand what will really make sense if I use this chart, because all this chart, you use them. I mean, it's important to take time and understand. Maybe in the next class, we'll really understand different use case scenario when we can, spend time understanding how and when to use this. If I was having any data that has to do with region, of course, I would use map. We have map here. Okay, so map will show me actual live map. I will be able to see the location, the city, the state of our branches or whatever, depending on what the company is into. Okay, so of course, because of my data set, I don't have any good example that I can really play around with this. Maybe when we meet next time, I'll be able to give you guys, more examples on how to play around with this visualization. Any questions so far?
Yes, Moses, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So on Power BI, can you be able, will you be able to mask a particular column on a table?
Will you be able to mask a particular column on a table? I believe you can, but all of that would have to be done at the data at SQL Server level. So that's a very good question. But from my experience, I believe that if you mask the data at the database level, at the column level, depending on what kind of mask, if it's data masking or always encrypted or let's say data masking. If it's data masking, and the person designing this report does not have a sysadmin server role or does not have the privilege to be able to view the data, the masked data, I don't believe it's going to show up here. That's a very good. So maybe next week we'll do a demo on that. we'll do a dynamic data masking on the data and then try to load the data on the dashboard and see how it would really come out. So that's a very good, but from me just thinking, I've not experienced it, I've not had that situation, but from my knowledge of dynamic data masking, if you don't have the permission to view the data, I don't believe exporting the data to Power BI will allow you to see the data. Because if it works like that, then it doesn't really make any sense. All right. I hope that answers your question, but that's a very good point. So next week we can try that out and set up a dynamic data masking and then try to pull the data and use that as a data source. Because next week we're going to be using data source of SQL Server as data source instead of Excel that we use today. Okay, now what next? Let's quickly publish our report so that we can see what it looks like. I know we are out of time, so this is your publish button here. So do you want to save your changes? I said, yes, I want to save my changes. I can give it any name. This is employee DBL. I have it on that data set, that's fine. All right, so once you're ready to publish it, this is why it's important for you to already have your Microsoft account, and then you can select, in my case, I have my workspace. So I select it. So it is publishing the data, it's publishing my Power BI report to Power BI services. Okay, so Power BI, open. So if I want to open it, can open it in Power BI, quick insight. Got it. So let's it's actually opening. I got it. So it opened on my secondary monitor. So let me bring it over. Oops. Okay, that came up. All right, so I'll go ahead and select the account that I want to use in viewing it. So I select this account. It's fine. Bingo. So this is our Power BI report. Now we have published that report. It's now, and also it's showing you the data, the updated date. Today is the 4th of February, 2021. So that is our report. There's a lot that I can show you guys just here. There's a lot we can learn how to set up data gateway, how we can share this report with our team members upfront right here. So if you want to share this report, I can share this report with just anybody. But for you to share it, I have to upgrade to Pro. So I'm not using Pro. So these are some of the limitations for not using the Pro. All right. However, I actually have an account for Pro, but I need to log in with that account. Okay. So I will say not now. I'm not ready to do that. So for you to be able to share your report, you need to have it. You can also subscribe to your report. And for you to do this, actually, I do this at work, you know, for some of our client report for. I do this and they give me names of people that they want to subscribe to this particular to the report. Okay, and I was able to, you know, add them there. Okay, you can also chat in teams. I don't have any teams. Well, I guess I do. So I need to sign in, then it will take me to my teams. And then what will happen there is that I will be able to have my team members comment on it, you know, say, oh, I like this report. Hey, can you change this? I did this, I did that. Okay, so another good thing is that you can export it. You can export it as PowerPoints, as PDF, and of course you can analyze in Excel. Okay, you can actually, a few things that you can do. So if I go to, okay, Michael, my time is up, right? Okay, so if you go to my workspace, actually, these are all my reports that I have. I can actually play around with my report, but I have other report here, but this is the one that we just loaded, employee TBL. Okay. Now, if I click on this, this is where you set up your gateway connection. Right now, I don't have gateway installed. So this is gateway that will help my data. Once the data is refreshed, especially if my data source is from a database, you know, a table that is constantly being refreshed. So I can use that. Then I can schedule for a refresh. I can say, okay, I want my report to be refreshed every XYZ numbers of weekly and daily. I don't think you can refresh monthly. I was actually designing a report today for one of our clients, and we, for some reason, they don't have monthly, and that report needs to be refreshed monthly. So you only have daily and weekly for this. All right. So when we meet next week, I will be able to shed more light. We'll play around with the report much more. And there's a lot to learn in Power BI that we cannot. So basically, today's exercise was just to be able to, you know, explain to us overview of Power BI, the power of Power BI, how you can play with Power BI and be able to, you know, design very beautiful design your dashboard and make your report, instead of it being boring data, boring grid data, you can put it in visual. Any questions? Any questions?
Actually, no, Moses. Actually, you answered my question. I figured out what version I was in. I was actually starting off in the reporting version of it. That's why I didn't see the first half of what you were saying, but I get it now. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you have to be on Power BI. Um, um, report service. So now I want you guys to also understand that there are a few things you can also do here. From here, you can actually also connect to a data source. If you look down here, you see get data. If I click on it, I can actually connect data in my organization, services, files, and databases. We're going to talk about this another time. So again, Power BI is a full course on its own. There's a whole lot. So what we are doing, we are basically introducing you guys to the power of Power BI, and also we're starting a different training for strictly business intelligence that will include SSIS, SSRS, and of course Power BI as well. Okay, so we just want to give you guys an introduction and insight to what is to come, what we're doing. And of course, if you're watching this video and you are definitely interested in enrolling in one of those training, we're going to put our website below this video, and you'll be able to go there and, you know, you'll be able to speak to one of our associates. Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you for spending time with me.
Thank you.
Learning.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Moses.
Thank you, Moses. Was
At
good.
this point,